I'm 78 years old now, and there are mornings when I wake up already tired, not in my body so much as in my remembering. The past sits heavy when you don't have much future left to balance it out. Some days it feels like my life is mostly behind me, stacked up like boxes I never unpacked, each one holding something I thought I'd get to later. I used to think lessons came when you needed them, that if something was important enough, you'd understand it in time to do something about it. I know better now. Most of what mattered I learned late, too late to fix, late enough that all I can do is sit with it. Time feels different at this age. It doesn't stretch anymore. It closes in. Days pass quietly, almost politely, like they don't want to disturb me. And I keep thinking how strange it is that I spent so many years rushing, believing I was behind, when really I was ahead of almost everyone I've loved. When I was younger, I didn't think about endings. I thought about progress, about moving forward. I thought life was something you built, piece by piece, and once you got it standing right, you could finally relax inside it. I didn't know that life keeps charging rent no matter how sturdy you make the walls. In my 20s, I was earnest. That's the kind word for it. I worked hard. I wanted to be dependable. I wanted people to look at me and think I was doing things right. I mistook being busy for being useful, and being useful for being loved. I said yes to everything that sounded responsible. Extra hours, extra projects, delayed vacations. I told myself it was temporary, just for now, just until things settled. I didn't realize just for now was a phrase that could last decades. I married young. Not too young, but young enough that we were still becoming people while already tied together. She was patient with me. That's something I see clearly now. Patient in ways I didn't notice at the time. She learned how to fill silence when I brought work home with me, when my mind was always somewhere else. We had children, 2 of them. I remember holding them as babies and feeling terrified by how much depended on me. I promised myself I'd give them everything. What I meant was security. What I didn't understand was that security isn't the same thing as presence. I was there, technically, at the house, at the table. But I was often tired, distracted, thinking about the next day. I believed my role was to provide, and I did that well enough that no one questioned it, including me. There were moments I skipped over without realizing they wouldn't come back. School mornings I rushed. Conversations I half listened to. Afternoons when they wanted me to sit on the floor, and I said maybe later. I really believed there would always be a later. That's one of the lessons I learned too late. Later is not guaranteed. It feels generous when you're young, like an endless account you can draw from. It isn't. It's a small balance that drains quietly. In my 40s, things looked good from the outside. Career steady, house paid down, kids growing. People said I was doing well. I nodded and accepted it, even though there was a dullness settling in me I couldn't name. I thought fulfillment would arrive once I reached a certain point, once the pressure eased, once I earned enough, once the kids were grown. I kept postponing my own attention like it was something indulgent. Relationships change when you're not looking. That's another thing no one tells you. They don't usually break loudly. They fade. They thin out. One day, you realize you don't know the person sitting across from you as well as you used to, and you can't pinpoint when that happened. My wife and I didn't fight much. That felt like a success at the time. Now I wonder if we should have fought more. At least then we'd have been fully in the same room emotionally. Silence is easy to confuse with peace. When the kids left home, The house got quieter, but not in a peaceful way, more like a waiting room after everyone's been called in. I assumed they'd come back often. I assumed I'd have time to reconnect with them as adults. Life pulled them elsewhere. I didn't follow very well. I learned late that people don't drift away because they stop caring. They drift because closeness requires effort, and effort is usually the first thing we postpone. The turning point, if I can call it that, wasn't dramatic. No accident, no shouting. My wife got sick in a way that didn't feel serious at first. A few appointments, some tests. Then suddenly it was serious. Hospitals compress time. Days feel long and short at once. Sitting beside her bed, I realized how many conversations we'd left unfinished. How many ordinary evenings I'd treated as interchangeable. I wanted to trade everything I'd built for more of those boring nights I used to rush through. She died on a Tuesday morning. Quietly. I held her hand and felt how small and fragile it was. I remember thinking, absurdly, that I still had emails unanswered. After that, clarity came, but it was cruel clarity. The kind that arrives when the window to act has already closed. I saw my life plainly, without the noise of obligation to blur it. I saw how often I'd chosen what looked sensible over what felt alive. Grief rearranges your priorities, but it doesn't give you back what you need to apply them to. That's another late lesson. Understanding doesn't equal repair. The years since have been slower. Friends have disappeared, some to death, some just to distance. Phone calls became fewer, invitations thinned out. I didn't notice right away. Loneliness isn't loud at first. It creeps in politely, like it doesn't want to offend you. I learned late that success doesn't keep you company. It doesn't sit with you at night. It doesn't ask how your day was. It just exists, like an old trophy on a shelf, collecting dust while you walk past it. There are things I'm grateful for. I don't want to pretend otherwise. I had love. I had chances. I had people who cared. That's part of what makes the regret so sharp. It's not about what I never had. It's about what I didn't fully inhabit. I used to think regret came from mistakes, from bad choices. Now I think it comes more from delays, from waiting, from assuming you'll feel ready later, from telling yourself you'll show up more once things calm down. Things rarely calm down. Life doesn't clear a space for you. You have to step into it while it's messy, while you're tired, while you're unsure. I didn't learn that until there wasn't much left to step into. I speak to my children now, but it's different. They're kind to me, respectful. But there's a distance that feels permanent. You can't retroactively build familiarity. You can't suddenly become someone who was always there. If you're listening to this, I won't tell you what to do. I don't believe in advice much anymore, but I'll say this quietly. Pay attention to what you keep postponing. Notice what you tell yourself you'll get to once things are settled. They may never settle. And one day you might find yourself my age, sitting in a quiet room, realizing you learned the most important things after the moments that needed them had already passed. I've made peace with that mostly. Acceptance isn't warm, it's just still. Like water after something heavy sinks to the bottom. If this meant something to you, I'm glad. That's enough.